Hello and welcome, my name is Ajaxpost and we're here for the May 2020 channel update, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise to you. You presumably have just clicked on the thumbnail, so that's where we are. First off, of course, once again I must acknowledge the strange situation we're in. We're now in month 2, at least here in the UK, of the lockdown due to the COVID-19 coronavirus. And I really must say once again, my thanks, my gratitude, my applause to all of the people involved in the health service, the care workers, the essential workers. I mean, we still have our guys collecting our rubbish every week. All the people doing those essential jobs that make a country work and function and allow us to carry on at least some basic semblance of normality. So if you're in any of those professions, if you're still going out to work, you're still dealing with people to get the job done and get us through this crisis, then thank you so much. And if I have in any way helped keep your spirits up through my gameplay videos, then I am just humbled and honoured and so appreciative that you're joining us, and of course for the effort that you're putting in to keeping us all safe. And of course, talking of keeping safe, if you're not in any of those essential occupations, do stay home, stay close to your friends and family in that same household, because households now are so many different things, it's not simply families, and keep your social distance, stay safe, stay at home, and keep the whole of your community safe. Anyway, that out of the way, let's get on to much more mundane things, like how the Ajaxpost channel has been doing through the month of April. It's been another really good month, and once again, I am so thankful to you for spending some of your time with my videos on my channel and connecting with me through comments, likes and so on. It just is it's so heartwarming. It really is. It's strange to say that, but it is. So just some silly stats for you from YouTube. At the very beginning of April, I hit 15,000 watched hours in total for the channel, which is a ridiculously big number, and over 1,000 of those came in April itself. A few days later, on the 9th of April, hit a magic number, 750 subscriptions. It really is astonishing to me that there are so many out there who want to see what I'm doing. What is wrong with you? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me and staying with the channel. We're now rapidly approaching, as we go into the beginning of May, 800 subscriptions. We accumulated 70 new viewers, regular viewers presumably, in the month of April. And then shortly after that, on the 13th of April apparently, we hit 150,000 views. It's incredible, really is. I don't quite know how I've managed to do it, but thank you so much for all of that. And just another odd little thing, April was my personal busiest month in terms of YouTube. In all the time I've been doing this channel, I achieved 21 uploads. So the games, what are we doing actually on the channel in terms of content? It's May. April was pretty much ongoing from March, and May is going to be pretty much the same, I think, going on from April. We're going to see pretty much the same mix of games with a possible change, and we'll come to that in a moment. The first one, of course, is Transport Fever 2, which is kind of the heart of the channel in a sense, in my estimation anyway. And finally, I'm getting that Bristol map going. We're getting out beyond the metropolitan, the urban area of Bristol, out to the wild blue yonder of Wales and Gloucestershire and other bits and bobs of the country. So that's moving along very nicely, and we should in May see some very good long new routes being put down for both passengers and some interesting freight arrangements hopefully as well. And once again, thank you so much for all those who commented on those videos, giving me hints, tips, advice and suggestions about lines around the Bristol area based on the history of railways in the sort of southwest of England and Wales. It was fascinating. I've actually learnt quite a lot just by doing this video, thanks to your input and feedback on those videos. And then kind of likewise with Sim Airport, where I've done a lot of research to try and work out what Bristol Airport looks like in real life, how it works and so on. And it's been such fun learning about the real place and then trying and sometimes succeeding and getting it right in game as well. I'm really enjoying that. Sim Airport is one of my favourites. It's a bit of a challenge because things can so easily, as we saw in the last couple of episodes in April, go a little bit wrong. They go so well, and then you put that one little tweak in the system, and it all sort of starts collapsing. But I think I'm on top of it again now. Famous last words. Another brick in the mall. Really liking that. Again, I think that game, my shopping centre, my mall, is starting to really take shape now, and I'm getting lots of business going through it, so that's growing quite nicely, which makes the game that much more interesting to play. And of course, big news for the Quadsphere, the company developing the game. They released it just a few days ago. It's now officially released. It's out of early access, and it's all looking really, really good. And one little note on that. I was very surprised by Dark Mark, I think you go by on YouTube, commented on the last video that I had actually been included in the game credits for another brick in the mall, which is just astonishing to me. All I've basically done is put out a few videos about it and shared my enjoyment of the game. And I made a few comments on the Steam page, but that was nothing compared to many other contributors. So I'm just so, again, humbled by the fact that my little efforts have been seen. Thank you very much to the guys at Quadsphere for adding me into that esteemed list. Where else are we? Cities Skylines, added that to the channel in April. That one's a game I hadn't played for about 4 years or something, so I'm kind of having to relearn it all again, which I find is actually usually more difficult when you go back to a game. You sort of have some idea of how it works, but you can't remember how you did it, and it becomes more difficult to sort of get to grips with the game. So I'm kind of finding that, and an issue I have with games like Cities Skylines, that totally sort of sandbox builder game with a lot of things you can do with it, is while I'm learning it, I'm also talking about doing it and showing it off to you, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for me to sort of get to grips with it sometimes. And you may have seen that I've made some very dodgy decisions in Cities Skylines, but it's been a fun exercise for me, and it's a game I really enjoy playing as well, and hopefully you do too. So that will carry on for a good while yet, I think. Stellaris, that's another game that I've not actually played for a while. I think it's about a year or so since I last played it. But the development company, Paradox, did offer me the latest expansion pack, Federations. So I thought, I'll give it a shot, see what I can do with it. And again, it's a game I really enjoy playing. There's lots of things to do, lots of things to take account of, and it's easy to get lost into. But because there is so much going on, and the way that I play the game, I'm not entirely sure if it works. I mean, just looking at the stats from YouTube, the viewing figures and the feedback, the engagement, as it were, with yourself, the audience for these videos, is somewhat less than for most of the other videos on the channel. So I'm wondering if, in fact, I'm not playing it terribly well, which I don't think I am, to be honest, but it could be fun anyway, seeing someone struggle with the game, or whether the market is saturated. There's already a great deal of fabulous Stellaris content out there, far exceeding my ability to play the game, but sometimes it's nicer to see someone who's learning it with you, so I have that to offer perhaps. But I'm thinking if this sort of game really fits my gameplay style in terms of creating content on YouTube, and whether it's something that appeals to you as a regular viewer, subscriber to the channel. So I'm thinking, unless viewing figures kind of pick up in the next episode or so, or if I get a lot of good feedback from you to this video, I will be pulling Stellaris in 1 or possibly 2 more episodes of that, and then we'll call a halt to it, which will give me room for bringing another game into the channel, which may be Bastide, which I've been putting up the occasional video for as they've done updates. It's very much early access, as we've seen, and the developer is currently issuing roughly daily updates with a sort of weekly summary, which they announce on Steam. So around those times, every week or two, I'll try and put a video together to show the significant changes in the game. It's not a game style I'm particularly familiar with, and again, my lack of understanding may encourage me to make more unusual choices in terms of gameplay, but hopefully that is insightful to you, at least in seeing what the game can offer compared to other games in this sort of market. And there are quite a few games that have done really well with this sort of historic colony town builder kind of game. So that one I expect to carry on, but once again it will be just occasional videos. It won't be a part of the regular schedule of the channel. So we expect to see just 2 or 3 perhaps at most over the next month for Bastide. Now if we do drop Stellaris, what is likely to come into its place at the moment, that is probably going to be Computer Tycoon, which I've already done 2 series on, but the developer Progorian Andrash issued a big update to the game a week or so back, basically balancing things out. So there's quite a lot of sort of behind the scenes background work gone on and changed in the game. So the actual gameplay may not be significantly different to what we've seen before, but it might be interesting to see how those changes in the underlying code affect how the game works in a more long-term series. So that could well be reappearing sometime soonish in May. Particularly if there's any more changes to the game, then I really will want to bring it back. But again, if we're losing Stellaris in May, then Computer Tycoon is on the cards for a fairly quick return after the end of the last series. Beyond that, there's a few games I'm keeping my eye on, which may be coming out soon, but most of those that I'm sort of tracking currently have a slightly longer delivery timeline, so they may not appear in this coming month of May, but we shall see. Anyway, any other news to offer to you? Yes, one thing I forgot to say in the last update for April was at the beginning of the month I had started a new blog. Yes, I was so annoyed with myself when I listened back to the recording that I'd uploaded for the April update that I failed to mention it. It just completely slipped my mind. Because I don't have a huge number of subscribers, I don't have access to all the engagement features, the community tab and the discussion tab and so on in YouTube. I do use Twitter and Instagram. So if you want to connect with me through those social media tools, then please do. The links are in the description below. But for sort of more laid back, more lengthy, more exposition, or just more verbiage from me, then I'm using the blog. It's not so much about the individual episodes, it's more about some of the background to the games I'm playing, such as the research I did for Bristol Airport and the research I've done for the Transport Fever 2 Bristol series. But mostly it's also because we're in this weird lockdown situation at the moment in the country, I'm looking back at one of my favourite things to do of all, which is going to the theatre. So over the years, and I've been doing it for quite a lot of years, I've been going to the theatre, and one of the things I do on the blog is post what I've seen in the past on this day before the lockdown. So if you're interested in the theatre or want to know more about some of the research and stuff I'm doing for the games, then please do join me on the blog. And the links I put up on Twitter, or you can follow the link directly to the homepage of the blog down in the description for this video. But that's it, I think. Thank you so much for staying with me on the channel. Thank you so much for viewing the videos. However long you spend with them, every moment appreciated. And most of all, of course, in these weird and strange times that we're living in, please do stay in touch with each other, stay connected. We need that to keep each and every one of us sane, but mostly stay at home as best you can, stay safe and protect your local community. But from me, hoping we're all feeling well by the time I do the next one of these, I will see you again soon. But until then, bye bye for now.